Hi, I'm Ben Ferguson, and welcome to your Amax Weekly News. First up, after almost a year in lockdowns, Texas and Mississippi have finally decided to go with the idea of freedom in their states. So find out what this actually means for people living there, as they've said, we're not doing lockdowns anymore, and why so many are angry at them for doing this. More on that coming up in just a moment. Also, it was Cpac, and let me tell you, the media, they got it wrong. Former President Donald Trump's Cpac speech focused on unity within the Republican Party, not division or starting a new party. So how did they get the story so wrong? Or did they just do it on purpose and lie to the American people? I'll give you those details in just a second. And finally, Amax CEO Rebecca Weber was with me at Cpac, and we'll give you an update on exactly what the party looks like moving forward, what the grassroots looks like, and some of the issues you need to know about. Quick reminder, though, if you haven't shared this video, please make sure you hit the share button and share this with your family and friends on social media. Your Amax Weekly News starts right now. Finally, some good news when it comes to the story of COVID-19. It is official. The governors of Texas and Mississippi have decided that enough is enough, and it's time to open back up again and give the people freedom. Now, after about a year of many Americans being stuck inside, being forced to wear masks, and, well, the government forcing you to do things that destroy your own businesses, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and Governor Tate Reeves of Mississippi decide to give Americans their freedom back. We can only hope this will start a chain reaction across the country. Take a listen to what Governor Abbott had to say in his announcement, and it was big news for the people of Texas.
So today, I'm issuing a new executive order that rescinds most of the earlier executive orders. Effective next Wednesday, all businesses of any type are allowed to open 100%. That includes any type of entity in Texas. Also, I am ending the statewide mask mandate.
Now, despite what should be a celebration, you still have people like the mayor of Austin, Texas, Steve Adler, telling Texans to pretend like they're still being forced to comply with government mask mandates and business capacity limits. That's right, he's angry, and he's telling Texans to keep themselves locked up and keep their businesses limited just because, well, he said so. Take a look at an angry mayor of liberal Austin, Texas, going to fight against the evil governor of the state that said it's time to have freedom again.
I can only hope that our community recognizes we still have a choice. Regardless of what the governor did, we can still choose in our city to act like we do have a mask mandate, for people to continue to wear it, for businesses to continue to require it, and that's what we're going to have to do.
Now, let's be very clear about what the governor actually said in Texas. He said that if you want to wear a mask, you can wear a mask. He's just saying the government's not going to mandate it any longer. He believes the people understand the threat of COVID-19, and you are the one that gets to decide how much you're going to do to protect yourself from it. Now, the bottom line is, this mayor in Austin is going against the freedoms promised to us in the United States Constitution. He's continuing to force businesses to fail, students to fall behind, and people to cover their faces indefinitely. Now, it's not just the mayor of Austin who's the only elected official losing their minds over this decision. Failed California Governor Gavin Newsom, he really went all in on Twitter in response to Governor of Texas Greg Abbott's decision by tweeting this: absolutely reckless. Now, this is the same man who was just caught for a second time indoors at a restaurant in a county in California where indoor dining was banned. If that's not enough, just take a listen to Biden's timeline on when he believes that Americans might return to so-called normal in this country.
But my hope is by this time next year, we're going to be back to normal, and before that, my hope. But again, it depends upon if people continue to be smart and understand that we still can have significant losses. There's a lot we have to do yet.
At the end of the day, we should say to ourselves, thank goodness that we have governors like Governor Abbott and Governor Reeves in Mississippi who are willing to stand up for the rights of the American people. It's time for us to make our voices even louder to encourage other governors in other states to follow their example. We should have the freedom to decide what is best for us, our families, and our businesses. And Amax is here to make sure that happens. Lies, deception, and just a whole lot of BS. It's exactly what you should expect from the mainstream media, and it's what we got in the time leading up to former President Donald Trump's first major public speech after Biden's inauguration. Well, they said that he was going to say a bunch of things that he didn't even say. For example, one of the primary lies was that President Trump would come forward and announce a brand new party called the Patriot Party. That, according to the Wall Street Journal and their sources. Well, guess what? It didn't happen. And Donald Trump slammed these lies down for exactly what they are at Cpac. Take a look.
We're not starting new parties. You know, they kept saying, he's going to start a brand new party. We have the Republican Party. It's going to unite and be stronger than ever before. I am not starting a new party. That was fake news. Fake news, no. Wouldn't that be brilliant? Let's start a new party and let's divide our vote so that you can never win. No, we're not interested in that.
That's right. The media lied to you and everyone else again, put it in print, and made it look like it was a fact, and Donald Trump just blew up their lies again. I wonder how many people will detract the fake news stories that they were having no problem reporting before Cpac. Look, Donald Trump gets it right. Donald Trump is too smart to split the party, which is exactly what liberals wanted him to do. The left also did everything it could to convince the public that the Republican Party had left Donald Trump, turned their back on President Trump, that he was no longer welcome in the Republican movement. Well, guess what? Cpac 2021 proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Republican Party is still the party of Donald Trump. In fact, the final results of the straw poll conducted at Cpac showed that if there was a Republican primary today, 55% of the attendees said they would vote for Donald Trump over anyone else in the field. Ironically, those who have been very critical of Donald Trump, such as Senator Mitt Romney, guess what? They barely even showed up in the poll. Romney received 0.3% of the vote. And don't forget, Cpac was in Florida this year, where there's a very popular Republican Governor DeSantis, and Donald Trump still beat him in Florida. Now, Trump made a point to differentiate himself and his policies from those of Joe Biden to make it clear what we're fighting over right now. Take a listen.
It means low taxes and eliminating job-killing regulations, Trumpism. It means strong borders, but people coming into our country based on a system of merit, so they come in and they can help us, as opposed to coming here and not being good for us, including criminals, of which there are many. It means no riots in the streets. It means law enforcement. It means very strong protection for the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms. It means support for the forgotten men and women who have been taken advantage of for so many years, and they were doing great. They were doing great before that horrible thing from China came in and hit us, and now they're starting to do really well again.
You gotta love the fact that no matter what the left and the media tries to do, President Donald Trump seems to come out stronger. Even the fact that he's been banned from social media, you would think that would mean that his audience or his message would have gotten smaller. Guess what? It hasn't. In fact, I think it's made more people love him than ever before. At the end of the day, what I learned at Cpac is this: Donald Trump is not gone. Donald Trump is still the leader of the Republican Party, no matter what Mitt Romney or the media has to say. Donald Trump is here to stay. And when it comes to midterm elections that we're going to see very soon, I have a feeling you're going to see Donald Trump on the campaign trail for a lot of true conservatives. And no matter what the Republican establishment says, this Republican Party is still the party of Donald Trump. It was a big week for conservatives at Cpac, and Amax was there to represent so many of you and to see what the future looks like for the conservative movement. Joining me now to talk about this is Amax CEO Rebecca Weber. Rebecca, it was so much fun to get to see you and the team there at Cpac, and if there's any one thing that I took away from what happened at Cpac, it's this. There is not going to be another party that's created because of Trump supporters. Donald Trump is clearly still in charge of the Republican Party. Would you agree with that?
100%, I do. And what I found really interesting is, boy, did Trump really bounce back. I don't even think it's so much that he regained popularity. I don't think he ever lost popularity. But it was evident at Cpac, certainly this year, the tremendous support. We were right outside the doors and we had our magazines. They were flying off of our tables. We had Trump on the cover of that magazine. But certainly, I understand how people could have thought perhaps that there might be a third party.
Yeah, and I think he cleared that up. You know, the best line, I think, was when he walked on stage and he looked at everybody there, and many people may have missed this, and he said, "Miss me yet?" And that was clearly in reference to the socialism that is coming from the Biden administration. And it's almost like, I know there's buyer's remorse out there, and I'm going to state it right now. And I think he's right about that.
I do too. And, for a lot of folks that were wondering about this third party, Ben, I think the Lincoln Project is a good example of the divisiveness in the Republican Party. And what's interesting is people are smart. They see that these people are really rhinos, the Republicans in name only, and they're willing to sort of give up their beliefs in order to keep their position in the political swamp. And so I'm thrilled that Donald Trump was very clear. We don't need a third party because he clearly is a leader, and he's still leading the charge in the conservative movement, for sure.
Well, not only did he say that we're not going to start a third party, but he said it was fake news. He said that was propaganda put out there by rhinos and the left trying to put a splinter in the Republican movement. And there is no way you could have gone to Cpac, and I'll go back to the Cpac poll as proof of this. People have the right to vote at Cpac. It's something that's a big deal having this poll, and it was clear in the polling. Donald Trump, no one can say they think it now. It's proof. Donald Trump overwhelmingly won the straw poll at Cpac, which means people said, we are not done with you either, Donald Trump. We're not moving on from you.
That's right. It'll be very interesting to see what he does and how he sort of rallies the best of the best. I call it that because we really have what I think is a lot more transparency now. We see what happened post-2020 election, the second trial that Donald Trump, had to go through. And we saw so many people really betray what I think is Donald Trump's First Amendment right as a U.S. citizen. He did not incite the violence at the Capitol on January 6th. And the vast number of Americans, they believe that as well. We see a lot of good things coming out of Donald Trump's, leadership for the conservative movement. So we're thrilled.
One of the things that you and also a good friend of the show, Andy Mangione, got to do at Cpac was talk to people on the grassroots level. And it's sad that sometimes it takes losing an election to kind of wake people up and realize what we were taking for granted and what Donald Trump was protecting. We see these gun control measures that they're pushing for this week. We see the lockdown orders that are happening still in this country. The fight over should we wear masks mandated by the government or not, have freedom like they've decided to do in Texas and Mississippi. And I expect other governors will follow suit and say, you, the American people, decide what's best for you. You know the issues with COVID, but we're going to give you your freedoms back that we took away from you. Others say, no, we must have government involvement in every aspect of your life. I think one of the best parts, one of the sad, great parts of losing an election is there are so many Americans that are waking up now realizing what we gave away on that election day. And you and Andy spoke to so many of them on the grassroots level at Cpac as well.
We did, and the theme was America Uncanceled, which was really great. The folks that we spoke with a lot of our elected representatives, too, are fully aware of the massive attack on conservatives, and they're aware of H.R. 1, and they're talking about the things that are important to AMAC members. It was a real pleasure to be able to speak with these folks and understand that we do have some good people in Washington. AMAC is going to work very closely with them, and we're going to make sure that we're protecting your First Amendment right. But America Uncanceled, what a great theme, because that is what we're feeling today, Ben. This massive pressure from big tech that is really, stifling the voice of the average conservative American.
No doubt about it. I want to say to everybody watching right now, AMAC has really been committed to getting more content out there and using social media and videos and podcasts and things like this. It's a commitment that you as the CEO have focused on far outside of just AMAC Weekly News, which was kind of a catalyst for us to really move forward. But if people that are watching right now miss some of the incredible work and interviews that you guys did, make sure you check out our social media pages, YouTube, Facebook, etc., because you did a lot of interviews with a lot of great Americans and grassroots organizations at Cpac. Go back and watch those. It was incredible.
Oh, thanks, Ben. It is Better for America is AMAC's podcast. Andy Mangione and myself, we had a great time. We spoke with some really great thought leaders. And folks that are AMAC members, they'll see those interviews right in their inbox in the coming days.
I appreciate you coming on AMAC Weekly News, and thank you for doing so much to get out the great news that AMAC is involved with. Thanks again, and it was a pleasure to see you at Cpac.
Thank you, Ben.
That's it for this edition of your AMAC Weekly News. A very quick reminder, make sure you share this video with your family and your friends right now. And most importantly, if you haven't renewed your AMAC membership or you've never joined AMAC, do it right now. Not only will you get the AMAC magazine, but you're going to get original content on our podcast and other things so that you know what's going on around the country. We're going to be fighting for you and millions of other conservatives, and we need to make sure that we can count you as a member. So make sure you join or renew your membership today. I'm Ben Ferguson, and I'll see you back next week for our next episode.